Okay, here with your favorite podcast in the motherfucking world. We got here someone lovely, someone that has a little skill, someone that has something to say, someone that has something to do. He's not just sitting at home with his legs crossed, eating a bag of Cheetos, flaming hot Cheetos at that, enjoying a beverage. He's out here getting it. COVID didn't slow him down. Nothing didn't slow him down. The world's kind of crazy, and we're here with Drazy. Talk to us.
What's up, man? That's probably the best intro I ever heard. That's awesome.
We got to make sure we're making it magical for you.
Yes, sir.
Now, we know that you're a man of many hats, but before we get to all these hats that we have here, one thing I do need to know. Come on in here. The pup has walked in. One thing I need to know: is there any shout outs? Any shout outs before we get into the serious stuff? Somebody sitting on
Um,
the edge of their seat, making sure you don't miss their name.
I mean, I guess it's just a shout out to my company, 86 Pictures, man. You know, we work really hard and we make things happen. And you're right. You know, funny intro or not doesn't mean it's not true. You know, during COVID, we definitely hustled and made things happen. So yeah, man, definitely to them.
Facts, facts. So before we get super deep here, go ahead and tell us a little about yourself. Who is, if someone was standing on the side of the street and they said, Drazy, who is Drazy? Who is this cat?
Man, dude, Drazy is just who am I? I'm a man, mixed kid, raised here in San Antonio. Uh, Raised by my grandparents. My grandparents are everything to me. They are the loves of my lives. They are my A1. And Yeah, they taught me everything from financial responsibility to having a faith in a higher power to just being a man. You know what I'm saying? Learning from your mistakes. Fall
Nice.
down 7 times, get up 8. You know what I'm saying? So
Nice.
um, at the end of the day, you know, I'm an old soul. I'm 27, but I'm an old soul, man. I got my record player. I got all my vinyl.
Okay.
I'm a guy who loves the oldies just as much as I love the new shit. So yeah, man, describe me in in a nutshell, man. You know, I was just taught to be someone, never be just another in the crowd, be what the crowd came for. And that's
Hell
just
yeah.
how I live. That's how I live my life. You know, like if someone's doing something badass and they're getting all the attention, I'm gonna respect it, but I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna run with it with my own energy, with my own style, and I'm gonna create something from nothing. Especially, you know this for a fact. You know us. You know I'm mixed, but yeah, I identify being black, raised by black people. Yo, man, like you know it's hard out here for people like us, man. You know, and
Facts.
we would think that 2021 things would get a whole lot better, and it has. You know, we can't sit here and live under a rock. You know, we're able to do shit like this. We're able to have
Facts.
opportunity still, but at the very same time, when you see one of our brothers, one of our people get gunned down and kneed on in the middle of the street, like it's like they're killing a dog. It
Mm-hmm.
makes you think to yourself, man, like what's really changed, you know, and it's sad, you know, and that's why I grind so hard, you know. So yeah, man, I'm just a man on a mission. To describe me, I go back to your question. I'm a man on a mission, man. I'm here to
Facts.
either to make it or die trying, as 50 Cent would say. Make it or die trying, bro. Straight up, that's real, you know. Like,
Facts.
uh, so yeah, that's that.
Now I respect that. Now, and you mentioned 50 Cent because you're a man and you mentioned vinyl. You're a man that has dibbled and dabbled in the music world. So I want to start there because, like I said, there's many hats that you wear. You may not have them all on, but you have many hats. Some may be beanies, some may be fedoras, and etc. But these hats have been worn at different points in your life. So we'll start with the music. What caused you to be so passionate about music? And it sounds like the passion is still there. So what got you into music in the first place?
Yeah, so middle I went to like I said from San Antonio, so went to a bunch of different elementary schools. But when I started living with my grandparents, I got into like a legit like public school system. Like I went to Wood Middle School over by
Mhm.
Madison High School in the northeast side of town. And then in Wood Middle School, I actually like played football. I played basketball. I wasn't that great at basketball. I can shoot. That's about it. Don't ask me to drive it in. Don't ask. I'm Ray Allen, in the Heat days. I'm just sitting in the corner shooting. That's all I
Yeah.
could really do. But I started playing football, and I was actually not bad. I was pretty good. And at that middle school, everybody was going to Madison, but since my neighborhood growing up was so big, they cut our borders in half. So my half of the neighborhood had to go to Roosevelt. And
Oh.
so I went to Roosevelt, and all my friends went to Madison, and it kind of sucks because like it wasn't that I heard Roosevelt was a bad school. I know that's like kind of like the legend of it, but it was mostly because I wouldn't have any of my homies.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about that was that when the high school coaches would come see us play at the middle school games to see who they want to recruit for their high school team, only the Roosevelt coach would come and see me. So when you would see the Roosevelt coach, I knew, hey, he's coming to see me because out of everyone on this team, I'm the only one that's an athlete going to Roosevelt who's actually somewhat good.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the football camp, and oh no, I had to go to summer school my 8th grade year because I kept skipping school. So I had to go to summer school for like social studies or some bullshit. And there was this kid named Logan Graves. He was like the richest white kid I knew in my middle school. He was the first kid he was the first kid I knew who had an iPod when they came out. Everyone else had the MP3 players, you know what I'm saying? Like line wiring in their shit. And and then the Zune, right? I had a Zune. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna disrespect you like that. I had a white Zune. I thought that shit was dope. But he had an iPod. And I remember being on a summer school bus with him, and I was sitting next to him. I never really talked to him before, but I would always see him. He always had the new shit. And he gave me one of his headphones and was like, "Yo, is all you do listen to rap?" And I said, "Yeah, whatever." And he said, "Listen to this." And it was Jimi Hendrix. And just to kind of go with that, I don't know if everyone else is going to see this, but I got the vinyl Jimi Hendrix, you know what I'm saying, like smash hits. And to this day, so after I heard Hendrix, I was like, what? And then he told me he was black, and I said, what the fuck? I said, niggas do that? I said, oh, wait, hold on. So I was obsessed with Hendrix, bro. And then I learned about another guitarist who I love, who's my favorite guitarist of all time, Hendrix being a close second. But it became Slash, who, lead guitarist of Guns N' Roses, who's amazing, man. And he's half black. So I was like just blown away, like, what the fuck? So I begged my dad for a guitar, and that Christmas that year, and I started playing guitar. I started teaching myself how to play, listening to music, playing by ear. And then I grew up in church. I'm a man of God, but I've gone through my journeys, of course. I'm not perfect, but you live with your grandparents, bro, you going to church. All right. This is what it is. I don't give a damn what you doing Saturday night. Your black ass waking up at 6, 7 in the morning to go to church. So, and we were Baptist, so I was at church. I was there all damn day. All right. You know what I'm saying? So,
and it made you get involved too.
Oh yeah, I was in church plays. I think I played my guitar for the church for a little bit. Like
you weren't just there.
Oh no, you were an usher. You were something. You was passing out the grape juice with the bread cracker. You were doing everything. So and I had a really big church, So I saw this guitar player, this heavyset black dude named Jonell, man, really great dude, still good friends with him to this day. And he was an older guy, like in his 40s at the time. And he was just killing it on this big stage. Like our church is really big. So he was on this big stage just killing it, man. And I remember something just gave me the courage to just go walk up to this man and go, hey, can you teach me? And I did it. After the service was done, I walked up to him and I said, hey, my name is Andreas. My grandfather works here at the church. He's a financial advisor here. I'm best friends with the pastor's kids, or, we're best friends. And I'm here almost damn near every day, it feels like. And I always see you play. So can you teach me? And he was like, I'll only teach you if you stick with it. No quitting after a week type bullshit. And he said this in the church, by the way, So that's how you knew he didn't give a damn. He was being real,
Yeah, you too, straight off.
So I said, So every day after school, especially freshman year and sophomore year, I would go to his house. He lived over in Converse. My dad would take me. and he teach me guitar. Al Green was one of my very first songs. Love and Happiness by Al Green was one of my very first songs I ever played on guitar. Oh yeah, bro. I had to learn, bro. And every time I got that opening riff wrong, start over. You don't understand how many times.
You can just move on, right?
Oh hell no. So you got that, and then from Al Green, I started really appreciating music, man, because this guy had a really nice house. You know, he was like he was like in the medical field, but he played guitar his whole life, and that's why he did it for the church. Had his own side blues band, and I got to play all his instruments. He had these like amazing like half stack Marshall guitar like amplifiers. He had Les Pauls, Fender Strats. I mean, you name it, man. I got to it all, and I would just listen. He had this music room upstairs in his house. I would just listen to all this beautiful vinyl, man, like all this beautiful guitar. Like it was crazy.
Wow.
So from there, sophomore year, I met this guy named Philip Wolf, who, shout out to him, man. He's doing really big things up in Vegas right now with his music. He's a rapper and singer. And me and him met in the hallways of Roosevelt High School. I was playing my acoustic guitar, and he just started singing and rapping to it. And we drew a crowd, like a little mini crowd in the Rough Rider Hall. And he was like, yo, you know, what's your name? I said, Drazy. He said, you know, my name's Philip. And we started, like, we made a band. We got a drummer, and it was just a singer / rapper with him, a guitar player, and a drummer. That's all we had. And we started booking shows to White Rabbit. And if you remember that, and we were playing at the White Rabbit to like no crowd, but then we started like actually, you know, mixing up our style, like gym class heroes. They were really big at the time. So we wanted everyone around us with pop punk. Everyone wanted to be Forever the Sickest Kids, Fall Out Boy, All Time Low. Nothing, no disrespect to those bands, but I was like, yo, man, let's switch it up. Like, yo, we're all minorities in this band. We got a Mexican drummer, we got a mixed guitarist, and then we have a Filipino / white Asian like rapper singer. I said, bro, like,
you look like the training manual on the diversity page.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was like, yo, let's mix it up. So we started rapping, and you know, kind of like on some Black Album type shit, Jay-Z, Linkin Park type shit. Like, you know, it was just like, yo, man, like let's make something happen. And we got popular. You know, a lot of athletes from Roosevelt started coming over, and it was mostly niggas at Roosevelt. So it was a bunch of niggas. You know, we turned the White Rabbit into a goddamn club, bro. Like it was cool. And then the girls came because the athletes came. Then we weren't half bad looking. So you know, it just grew and grew. And bro, for all my high school up until the middle of senior year, we were just known as like the guys in the band who were popular, man. And it was crazy. So yeah, that's where the love of music comes from, man, to answer your question, bro. And of course that led to negative, crazy things that happened through my life, but that's the positive part of it. So yeah.
And with you doing music, and this may be a fast forward so you can fill in any gaps that I may be missing out. Somehow you go from music to comedy. This is although it's, you know, they're both different branches of entertainment, it's an interesting segue that you did here. What led up to this? Like, how did you go from music to comedy, and how did you even know like this is something that I could do?
Yeah, so after high school ended, the band had already been broken up for months before I graduated, because I was actually the youngest person in the band. Everyone else was like seniors by the time they were freshmen in college by the time the band broke up. I was a senior in high school.
Was this broken up due to issues or broken up due to everyone?
Yeah, there was issues, you know, like you know, it egos. You know, you give a couple high schoolers some money to play venues across Texas. You know, you're getting like free drugs, free alcohol. You're partying every night. You know, of course before church, right, Saturday night, and then you know, you're fucking all the white girls that you can see. So it was like what the fuck. So it led to egos, man, and it was really rough. But so we ended up splitting. You know, just differences and stuff. You know, but after that, I went to college, tried to do the whole college thing. But I was lost, man, because I graduated in 2011. I graduated early. I was supposed to graduate in 2012, but I graduated, and you know, I was going to go to, you know, I went to college, but to be real with you, bro, like it didn't resonate with me, you know, like I also the fact that I was smoking weed and popping pills a lot and drinking a lot, that kind of factored in, because even though the music stopped and all the habits that I picked up doing music, the music stopped, but the habits didn't. And it was like, oh shit. So got to college, it only got worse, right? You know, there's parties every day. And then yeah, man. So like I was just lost during that time, you know, I didn't know. And so for a long time, I want to say from like 2012, 2013, yeah, about 2012, all the way to about 2017, I was really lost. Like I just for 5 years. And in that time frame, I had a four-year old relationship from like 2013 to 2016. Um, and yeah, like, you know, she was a very like, you know, she had her, you know, her goals set and everything, but I just kept fucking around. You know, I kept, you know, I wasn't cheating or anything, but she couldn't stand seeing, you know, the guy she's thinking about being with for a long term always high or always doing, never fulfilling his potential. And it went from, you know, I had all these ideas. I was still trying to make music. I was rapping on the side while I was going to work and, you know, all this kind of stuff, but it wasn't hitting. None of it was hitting, bro. Like it was stupid. It was like we were trying to be famous or live out like a famous life, but we weren't famous at all. No one knew who the fuck we were. And yeah, 2016, and this is really the start of my journey to answer your question. So the ending of 2016, my ex cheated on me, and that was like, oh shit, and we broke up. That was like December 20. I'll never forget this, December 2016.
Do you feel like do you feel like you caused that with some of the
yeah, well, you know, and
drugs
that's the greatest thing about perspective, right? Like you see, you know, you're a really smart dude. You know, you got your own business, you got your own thing going. The main thing, the only way to be successful in life is to have perspective, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? And to understand who you are and what and to know when to grow and to be better and to blossom. A lot of people don't like to take accountability, right? Accountability is huge, right? Especially as a man, you got to be held accountable, but most importantly, hold yourself accountable. Like, yo, I should have done X, Y, and Z. Can't just always put it on other people. So for a long time, I used to like hate my ex because, and even though I haven't talked to her since then, like I used to hate her because I got cheated on. You know, I got left for another nigga. But at the same time, as years gone on and I've been sober and I've been clear-minded and I've accomplished what I've accomplished, I look back at that time and go, man, dude, it wasn't like I was fucking Mr. Perfect either. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you know, so of course I'm not saying what she did was right, but at the same time, it's like, I don't condone it, but I understand. You know what I'm saying? I understand. So around that time was really weird because like my best friend, Matt Valdez, he's one of my best friends of all time since middle school. We're huge wrestling fans. I'm a huge wrestling fan still to this day. Big wrestling.
Yeah, macho men.
There you go, bro. There you go. And I you know, we grew up wrestling fans. I still am to this day. In January of 2017, January 31st, the Royal Rumble came to the Alamo Dome. This is the first time it's been here since 20 years. So Matt has saved up all this money to take me and 4 other of his homies to the Royal Rumble. And we got really close ringside seats. It was one of the best memories of my life. I had so much fun. I had never been to a wrestling event before. And then 2 weeks later, I get a call from a mutual friend of ours that he died in his sleep.
Wow.
And from an undetected heart murmur. Yeah. Wow. And it was crazy because like a week prior to that, I had gave him a call and told him I want to pay you back for at least my ticket because you didn't have to do that. And he was like, nah, bro, you're the one who deserves this more than anyone because you got cheated on. You got, you know what I'm saying? Like you're
trying to show you a good time.
Yeah. He was like, bro, I want to make sure you're good, you know? And so I said, bro, I appreciate this. I'm going to return it back to you though. A week later, I get a call and he's gone and it destroyed me. It destroyed me. So this is 2017 now, right? Yeah. And I'm depressed. I'm alone. I'm back living at my grandma's house. You know, and still popping pills, still doing dumb shit, but starting to get a little bit of perspective, right? Like how we mentioned before, starting to get a little bit of perspective. Like, yo, I'm 23, 24 at this time, 23. I'm like, yo, man, like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I trying to get done in my life? Like, if the music isn't panning out, okay, what else am I gonna do? My best friend's gone, so that just reminded me that life's fucking short, bro.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? The other girl, the other person that you love a lot, left you for another guy. So now the two people who I love more than anyone other than my grandparents, the two people in my friend, outside of my family who I love more than anyone, both left me for two different reasons.
Yeah.
One left me for another guy, one left me for another life. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, what am I gonna do? His rosary comes and I'm speaking at his funeral, and I go up on the podium, or they tell everyone in the audience, hey, if you want to speak on some great words about him, go ahead and talk about your friend Matt. Everyone starts going up there, and it was very depressing, to be real with you. Like,
Yeah,
and rightfully so, but I told myself, if I go up there, I'm gonna start making people laugh. And I went up there, and me and Matt always crack jokes on each other. Me and Matt always tell me, bro, you could be a comic, you could be in funny movies, and I always just ignore that, because it was just us cracking up. Yeah. But when I went up there, I just kind of told him, like, yo, man, give me the strength, And for 10 minutes, 15 minutes straight, I just made everyone laugh, like 90 plus people in that church, just laughing constantly. And it was like, I looked over to my left where I saw my best friend's body in this open casket, and I go, yo, man, like, there's something here. And a month later, I went to my very first open mic where I actually wrote my own jokes, tried to like rehearse them, try to get ready. I started studying the art of comedy. Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy, Louis C.K., Bill Cosby, you know what I'm saying? Like all the greats, you know what I'm saying? I did really well at my first open mic. And so for a whole year, all of the rest of 2017 to the beginning of 2018, I just kept doing open mics. I kept acting. I kept, not acting, but I kept doing stand-up comedy over and over again. I bombed a lot. I did good a lot, got booed, got heckled, had to deal with it. But it was giving me some type of purpose.
You feel like you took that well?
Yeah, I loved it because it made me understand, like, yo, that joke sucks. So go back home and work on it.
Some people can't handle that.
Yeah. And it was the first time where, my ego was getting destroyed. Yeah. Right. And everyone needs that. Everyone needs their ego to be and to understand it's not just your world. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be open-minded, or else you'll die, if not physically, mentally.
Yeah.
So, I just kept grinding. Finally, out of nowhere, I had just finished doing a set, and this acting, acting agent came and approached me and said, hey, how would you like to I'd like to sign you to an acting contract. And I was like, I thought it was bullshit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, man, fuck out of here. But then they called me back. I gave them my number. They called me back and said, come to their office. Turns out like the office was at Alamo City Studios here in town, and it was a pretty legit place. And I signed a contract, and I started booking commercials like crazy. I was like in Little Caesars, a Dick's Sporting Goods commercial. I was in like internet commercials. I was in a UT Health Science commercial.
Nice.
And I was getting paid, like 700 here, 800 here, 500, But I kept asking them, like, hey man, like, I want to get in films. Like, I want to actually like try doing this. I feel like commercials don't really count as acting. I want to like really try to do this if you're really going to sign me to an acting contract, And they were like, yeah, but the commercials pay well, and you just have, and blah, blah, blah. So after a while, I just said, you know what, fuck this. I'd rather just do it myself. So I started my own web series called Project Drazy, which is on YouTube.
Oh, yes. And I experienced a little of this.
And I met this videographer guy at this rock climbing place. And I won't name his name because me and him don't really talk anymore. But long story short, he liked that I was so ambitious, that I wanted to do this. He liked the fact that I was an actual comic. And he had been trying to get something off the ground that was outside of just doing videographer work for like companies and shit. So we created something together. It was completely improv. It was like Curb Your Enthusiasm meets Eastbound and Down. That's like my two favorite shows.
You just named two of my shows, man. I love.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I love those shows. So we combined the two, and we used actual footage of me like performing in a couple episodes, and we had like a little bit of a cult audience. I mean, we didn't really like, make thousands of views, but a lot of people would always every week or every month we came out with it like, hey man, like when's the next episode, So I was like, cool, like it's a little audience, like, 500-600 views here and there, but hey man, those are people I don't have to, I don't even know, I don't know 600 people, you know what I'm saying? So, or 901 videos. So I was like, yeah, I don't know. So that's cool. Well, we were supposed to do 8 episodes for the first season and then take a break and then come back with a second season where we do a road trip and go on the road, me trying to do comedy on the road. And that's what the whole game plan was. But after the 5th episode, as you saw on the YouTube channel, like the videographer guy and me just like split ways. He just literally up and left. Like I haven't heard from him since 2018. I'm telling you.
Did he tell you why?
No, nothing. Like I literally like he was a very timid person. I was his mouthpiece. Like, he was really talented. He was really talented. And I would help book him gigs with music videos, like rappers that I knew who were trying to pay people to film their videos. I was trying to get him work on the side. Because I couldn't pay him to do this. But I told him that I will network the fuck out for you. You know what I'm saying? And he benefited from that, but out of nowhere he just went his separate ways, and all good. Hope he's doing great. But
you probably helped him too good. He probably got something good and just vacated.
Yeah, maybe, hopefully. But and then from there I started booking short films, man. I started networking myself at the Alamo City Studios with actual filmmakers, people who have been doing it for a while. And I started networking, man, and so yeah, that's where the acting came from, where I just like felt and around that time, I got sober, I was, and I kept away from everything, and I got my soul back, as I like to say, and I got my soul back, because I didn't feel like I felt soulless.
At what point did you realize, that you were doing too much as far as drugs, pills, and of course doing it period is too much already. But when did you say, man, this is I gotta chill out?
After my 3rd arrest.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. I don't remember driving and I got pulled over and the cop said, you almost came into my lane in oncoming traffic, and I swerved at the last second to miss you, and I pulled you over. I gave you a breathalyzer test. You passed it, but I knew you were still fucked up on something. And this is how I know God was watching out for me, because the same cop who arrested me an hour away from San Antonio was the same guy who used to bodyguard at my church for my grandfather when he would go count the money in his office at the church. So the fact, and and my church is in Schertz, Texas. So the fact that he was literally an hour away from me and happened to be the guy who pulled me over, literally was like, okay, God's giving me the biggest sign in the world to just quit the shit. So since February 4th of 2018, I've been sober from everything. And literally since that day, it's been the best thing for me, man, for sure.
How does your willpower and self-control work with, because with the business that you're in, you're gonna see it. You may not be involved, but you're gonna see it. Someone's gonna offer you stuff. Like, how is it tempting, or it's like you ignore it?
Every day it's tempting. Not gonna lie to you, being honest with you.
Yeah.
Every day it's tempting. When you don't just stop being an addict. You're always an addict. You know what I'm saying? You're always an addict. But and that's what I had to come to terms with. Like I said, we go back to that word perspective, and I had to get a perspective that I was an addict. I couldn't stop. Like literally, when I always tell people, even my friends, I say, hey, when the good stories, when the bad stories start outweighing the good stories when you're high and fucked up, that's when you got to stop. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're
people
not
like that part though, for some reason.
Yeah, like it's the thrill of it. I think it's the thrill of not knowing. That's a high in itself, But I think
I'd rather just do this and go to bed and just no crazy story needed.
If I do anything again, man, because I'm currently on probation, but I get off in April. I was on probation for 2 years. Like my grandparents hired the most amazing lawyers that got me off my 3rd arrest, and literally like literally just got me 3 days in jail and 2 years probation. And I was like, dude, and I was looking at 5 years in jail.
Yeah, sweet
So,
fancy.
yeah, I wasn't complaining. So if I were to do anything again, it would probably just smoke weed, honestly, like smoke weed at my house. But
Yeah,
I don't even think I'd feel like doing that either because I just don't even tempt myself, you know?
yeah,
But because I don't see nothing wrong with weed. Weed was never a problem for me. I honestly would always choose pills and alcohol over weed.
mhm,
But you know, if that, but at the end of the day, I don't judge anyone who does whatever they do. You know what I mean? Like I get it. I live my life like this. You live your life like that. It's all good, man. It's all love. Just be smart. Just be safe. That's all I say.
facts, facts. Now, you was just saying, telling me how your acting career, YouTube wise, but when did you realize that it was like really going somewhere?
Um, I think when I booked my first, so how I got my first short film, I met this guy named Ian Eskender. He's a really good guy, man. Really great guy.
Hmm.
And he lives here in town, and him and his brother own a production company out in Cali. And his brother him filmed all of Logic, the rapper Logic's music videos.
Oh wow.
And so he actually created his own like side story of Star Wars that won a bunch of awards too, that raised a bunch of money to be made, and they're actually working on the second one right now up in Cali. So he was a great connective to run into. I didn't even know who he was or anything. I just started talking to him in the break room at the Alamo City Studios. And I honestly thought that he didn't like me because, like, he wasn't saying much. But turns out he was a really cool dude. And so, literally out of nowhere, I was working some bullshit job downtown, and he messaged me on Facebook and goes, "Hey, man, I'm shooting a short film. It's for a competition up in Austin." And I remember saying that you were, an actor, and the guy who I had for this role dropped out last minute. Only thing is, though, is I can't pay you, but I'm gonna have Chick-fil-A for everybody, which shit,
Yeah,
that's might as well be money.
yeah,
You know what
you
I'm
said
saying?
that right.
But but then he said, but the other thing is that you got to get down here at 8. Thing is, I
Oh
didn't get off of work at 9, so I was just tripping because I'm like, yo, this is my opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I got to get down there. So I'm tripping, and this is like at 4 p.m. when he tells me this.
Hmm.
So it gets closer to 8. It's like 6 something, and then it turns to 7. And I'm like, fuck, man, what am I gonna do? And I told him, I messaged him, I go, hey, what did I tell him? I said, hey, look, I'm at work, but I'll be there. I'll be at my house. And he's like, all right, cool. I'll send a driver to come get you as soon as you're home. I said, cool. I didn't know how I was gonna get out of work. I just told him that I'd do it. So I literally tell my manager, I go, hey, this is a job that I hated anyways. I go to my manager, I go, hey, I gotta use the bathroom. He's like, all right, cool, yeah, just be back, whatever. I never came back. Never came back, bro. I just left. I took an Uber home. My granddad was like, why are you home so early? I said, oh, we got out early. He's like, all right, cool. Literally got dressed, took a shower, washed my ass. Driver came, picked me up. I filmed at his house from 8 p.m. to 4 in the morning. Literally 2 weeks later, we got to go to Austin to see our movie in this dope ass theater that they had all these film competitions in, and our movie won over 4 awards. And one of those awards was Best Ensemble Cast, which was amazing because this is my first time ever acting in anything legit, and it's
Yeah.
a beautiful movie. And from there, I just stayed in contact with him, stayed in contact with everyone who helped make that movie, the cinematographers, everyone you can think of. Just networking, man. Hey, what's your number? What's your
Go
Instagram?
ahead and plug the name of that movie for everybody listening.
Yeah, so the movie's called Speak to Me. It stars Jordan Heitkamp, who's no longer here with us. Rest in peace. But he's an amazing actor. He was actually my acting mentor. Took me in over his wing.
Mm.
Really gave me the insight of cinema and acting. And I can actually, if anyone wants to see it, just DM me and I can send y'all a link because it's not on YouTube or anything because it wasn't a film festival. But I can definitely get y'all to where y'all can see it and you'll see it for
Okay.
yourself. Um, but yeah, and then from there, I got to be a part of this movie called Glossolalia. And Glossolalia was filmed by a guy named Justin Rodriguez, who's probably my favorite filmmaker here in the city. And that movie won a bunch of film festival entries around the country. And I was just like a minimum character in that, but I helped produce that movie. I actually gave money and got people to also give money to make that movie happen.
Nice.
And so I got a producer credit from that one. And then I was just like doing, short films, and so that's how I feel like things are really happening and now, if that answers everything.
So once you got that producer credit, because we know that you continue to grow in that. Is that when you started producing more and moving more towards doing your own thing?
Yeah, I've produced how many movies now? At least 4 movies. Yeah,
Nice.
and all of them I was either in or had something to do with the creative to bring it to life. And yeah, I producers make all the money in Hollywood. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Producers make all the money. So I don't really care for this guy's movies, Tyler Perry. Don't really care for his movies too much, but
Same.
I have mad respect for Tyler Perry, mad respect, which is
I,
why I'm actually.
I like his serious stuff, like Temptations, but I don't like
Oh
the
yeah,
Medea and all that.
yeah, but it just got old. But Tyler Perry, I'm actually moving to Atlanta next year because I'm trying to get, I'm moving closer to Tyler Perry Studios because I want to get on there and try to get something going. But I'm definitely moving next year. But yeah, I just learned from him. I watched a lot of his interviews. I mean, this guy was already a multi-millionaire before he even made the first Medea movie in Hollywood because it was a play, and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
bought and he wrote the play. He rented out venues to the point where he made so much ticket sales that he ended up buying the venues that he was renting,
Mm,
and the play just got massive in the South. And
yeah.
yeah, man, it's just like that complete ownership is what I love. My grandfather always taught me. He's a 27-year Army vet, and then he became a really great businessman with his own stuff. And he always taught me own everything, own everything, because why not? You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? So yeah.
With these different fields that you've been in, which do you feel that you're more passionate about? Do you feel
Acting.
you're acting,
Yeah.
and why so?
The art of acting saved my life. I owe art my life. I tell this to my girl all the time. She knows I'm on this gung ho mission to make it in this industry, and she's sacrificing a lot to be with me and to make it happen. And she doesn't know how much I really love her and respect her for it. But art saved my life. Art kept me sober. Art gave me a purpose. So my purpose is to give my life to art.
Yeah.
And acting is the number one thing. I produce movies and stuff for people and for myself. And I just directed my own movie this past October that's about to come out very soon, that I
Nice.
wrote. I'm the lead role in. I raised the money, and and I directed it. And I love directing too. Directing is really becoming really fun to me. But at the same time, acting is where you're going to get the best stuff from me, I feel.
Yeah. Do you feel that you have real people around you? You mentioned your girl. Do you feel like you have real people around you as far as feedback? As do you ever hear the "I don't like this" or "This could have been done
Mm.
better," or is it just "Oh, it's great. Oh, it's great, Tracy"?
Yeah. I think once you're around people who are always telling you that you're good, you need to walk away.
Yeah.
100%. I don't want no yes men around me. So I'm very blessed to say that everyone around me definitely tells me in my face, yo, you sucked. Do that again. Do that take again. Or hey, that script that you wrote, nah, we weren't feeling it. Do it again. And that's what's kind of helped my drive, because I have thick skin, and I have thick skin growing up with my grandparents. You know how old people are.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
grandma will tell me in a hot minute, hey, your waistline's getting thick. What you doing? You know what I'm saying? Why you got more ass than me, boy? Go run. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like that, So I grew, and then also having the stand-up comedy background, just getting heckled and booed and shit. So I'm used to being around people who are telling me real shit, real how it is.
Mhm.
So no, I don't. I'm happy to say I don't have any yes men around me, and yeah, you know, and that's you know how I want to keep it.
Who would be your dream to work with in all three fields? So musically, who would you like to work with? Just one person. In comedy and in acting or in the movie world.
And
You could sit on it. We ain't gotta rush this one.
got you.
I want you to really, give me what you mean, and who and why do you want to work with this person?
Well, for the music, it would have to be, I don't know if you can see my poster. It's Kid Cudi and Kanye West
Oh yeah.
at the Life of Pablo concert that I got framed.
Oh,
Music wise, I would love to work with Kid Cudi, man,
yeah.
or Kanye, but Cudi for sure. He's my favorite artist of all time. A real close. I mean, I guess like of all time, my favorite artist is Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But as far as modern artists, it would have to be Kid Cudi, and then Sade's right there too. Um, and then it'd probably be like Prince, Kurt Cobain, but yeah, Kid Cudi, man. I mean, this dude he's revolutionized music. You know, Kanye as well. You know,
Yeah.
they like literally what you hear today, that melodic type rap. You know, that's Kid Cudi, man. You
Yeah.
know, and you know when you get to say before you even dropped your own album that I helped, create 808 and Heartbreaks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and Kanye gets all the credit for revolutionizing the sound that we had at the time. What was that 08, 09? But
Yeah.
it's like, but then you hear something like Man on the Moon, and
Mm.
then you hear something like Man on the Moon 2, which is my personal favorite. And then you get Man on the Moon 3 that recently came out, which was
Yeah.
a hitter. I
Yeah.
love that. That's to me his album of the year.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and then another as far as music goes. So yeah, music goes Kid Cudi, and then another guy too is West Side Gun. I'd love to work with him in some
Oh yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Griselda, I love them. I
They
love them
got
a lot.
bars all day.
Oh yeah. Bar. I mean, I couldn't rap with them, but if I could just be in the studio and help create something with them, like in some aspects, I don't consider myself a good rapper at all. It was just like me trying.
Yeah.
But if I could play a guitar riff for them and a guitar, that'd be cool, man. That'd be dope.
We might have to have a talk about that because I produce, so I might can use some of your riffs anyway. Uh, but
Awesome.
but on the comedy side, who would you like to work with?
Oh man. Oh man. That's a
Maybe even
hard one.
maybe even open up for some.
If it's funny, a lot of my friends have been telling me they want me to come back to comedy just because they loved my stuff. But I fell in love with acting so much that I've sort of like abandoned it. But I because comedy was my therapy. Acting and film is what I really want to do with my life.
Mhm.
But comedy was therapy to me. I never thought I would get famous doing comedy or successful. It was just for me to have an outlet because I was very depressed.
Kind of
But
kind of sidebar question. Do you sprinkle a little comedy in your? We don't have to get too deep into it, but into your movies.
no, but I'm actually writing a comedy. I'm
Okay.
writing a comedy soon. So it's the first movie I wrote and directed and made, The Heritage. It's actually like a thriller. It's a
Okay.
thriller, suspense thriller. So,
My favorite.
uh, but I'm a big comedy lover. I love comedy. So and I'm a funny dude. If we ever hang out and chill and shit with all this COVID bullshit, but if we ever
Yeah.
chill, man, I promise you will be laughing over and over again, bro.
We can get together and have some cookies and milk or something.
Hell yeah, bro. Bring that bottle you showed me earlier.
No, we'll focus on cookies and milk.
Okay.
I'm gonna respect you, man.
All right, I appreciate it. But yeah, comedy wise, man, I'd have to say I'd love to open for Chris Rock, man. Chris Rock, man. I know Chappelle is probably considered the GOAT now, simply because well, the GOAT of all goats is Pryor, right? We all
Yeah.
know that, Richard Pryor. And
Yeah.
then right there on the Mount Rushmore is Eddie Murphy. I mean, Eddie Murphy was a rock star in the 80s. And then I would say now the GOAT in this era is probably Chappelle, because no one's had a better comeback and own the game and stay so, not only stay so relevant, but be so impactful than Chappelle. And some people may argue Kevin Hart. I would say Kevin Hart is big on the mainstream shit,
Yeah.
but when it comes to the impactfulness and it comes to like fucking just amazing content, it's no question it's Chappelle.
Well,
But Chris Rock,
the cool thing
say
with
again?
Chappelle too, you actually get to learn stuff too, because instead
Yeah,
of him just saying random jokes about being late for work and stuff like that, he tells jokes, but you can tell that he's actually teaching you something. So
exactly.
you laugh, but then you're like, oh shit, I didn't know about this. I'm gonna look this
It's
up.
real. He says some real shit, man. And I
Yeah.
and I think Chappelle is, but I think someone who's on that level too when it comes to the impactfulness of he may not be as good as Chappelle when it comes to saying like these amazing life lessons, but he's right there close and he's really great is Chris Rock, man. I think
Yeah.
Chris Rock is hilarious. I mean, I I don't every time I think about Chris Rock, I just start laughing because like I can watch his specials whenever. Bigger and Blacker is one of the best
Yeah.
ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
Facts.
Tambourine was really fucking good. His latest special that came out a couple years ago, that was really good.
Facts.
Chris Rock's great, man. I think he doesn't get enough credit. I know people say he's a legend, but I feel like people sometimes forget about him. I think Chris Rock's the best, and that's who I would love to work at or to open up for.
Okay. And we're in the movie realm. I'll even open it up as working with directors, actors. We'll open that whole movie realm up.
That's gonna be the hardest one to answer, bro. Director wise, man, I mean, I'd love to work with Harmony Korine. I mean, he's one of my favorites. I mean, Spring Breakers,
Yeah.
Gummo,
Yeah.
Kids. I mean, well, he didn't direct Kids, but he wrote it. But
Kids
even
was
though,
crazy.
yeah, even like The Beach Bum, that was like his latest film.
Yeah.
Like all these films are like, especially Gummo, man. Gummo is a masterpiece in my head. A lot of people hate it, right? It's so nasty and grimy and
Yeah.
disgusting, but it's the art of decay. It's
Yeah.
the art of decay. It's the art of the most poverty, that we have in the United States. And I feel like for him to make it's another day in the
Hmm.
poverty world and what they do, I thought that was just brilliant. It was, and then also a guy named Nicholas Winding Refn. He's another director.
Hmm.
He made that movie Drive with Ryan
Yeah.
Gosling.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he directed that. He directed Only God Forgives. It also has Ryan Gosling, and he also made recently The Neon Demon.
Okay.
And he's what makes me so hyped about him is that he's dyslexic,
Hmm.
and he's colorblind.
Oh wow.
So he makes all his movies so vividly colorful, and they're so beautiful, like the most beautiful
Hmm.
movies you'll watch on
Hmm.
purpose, because that's the only way you can see his movies.
Yeah.
And it's breathtaking because this guy is really good. Sometimes he lacks substance at times. Same thing with Harmony. They sometimes lack story, and
Hmm.
they'll just give you amazing, like crazy looking moments.
Yeah.
But it's a different type of art that I think is sometimes people can't interpret. People are so used to beginning, middle, and end. And even Harmony Korine said in an interview, he says, "I believe in having a beginning, middle, and end. I just don't think we should have them in that order." And I think
Hmm.
that's pretty cool. I think
Oh,
that's
that's
kind of
pretty
cool.
dope. That's
And
pretty
then
dope.
acting wise, man, now this answer might floor you. My favorite actor, man, is Shia LaBeouf, man. I think Shia LaBeouf's amazing, bro. And the reasons why is because, especially with his most recent work, with Hunt Boy, Peanut Butter Falcon, when he was in Fury.
Mm.
I mean, when you have so many A-list actors like Brad Pitt, and the list goes on, say that Shia LaBeouf's the best actor they ever worked with,
Mm.
it's like, I mean, where the smoke is a fire. I think Shia LaBeouf's one of the goats, man, and I've seen his performances. I see how I mean, the movie Charlie Countryman. Oh my gosh, all
Hmm.
these independent films he came out after his Transformer days just
Yeah.
blow you away, man, blow you away. And then
Mm.
Denzel, why not? Denzel's the goat. Denzel's the
Yeah.
goat. So
Do you feel Denzel though? He don't have like a. People say that he has a lot of range, but a lot of his roles are very similar, in my opinion.
in your
He's really
opinion,
good. He does it really good. Don't
yeah,
get. Let's not get it twisted. But it's
yeah.
just like it's kind of like cop, detective, dad. It's I want to see maybe I don't know Denzel in space, or I don't
Mm.
just to see him in a different element and not being a detective or you know,
Yeah.
I know he's capable of it, but and it could be maybe that they shop him for this kind of stuff. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, we have a cop, we need Denzel.
Yeah.
But I think I would like to
Well,
see that from him.
I think you're right. I think you have a point there. I'm not gonna be one of the people that says, "Oh, you're fucking crazy." Well, like
Yeah.
I think you have a point. I think the only two movies Denzel's ever won an Oscar in, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is when he was a bad guy cop in Training Day, and when he was a slave in Glory.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else is really great or Oscar nominated or just really great roles he does throughout the year. But they're kind of like, the movies sometimes are pretty good, but they're not like as good as Training Day good as good as, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like Denzel's kind of sort of like one of those guys that you can watch him do the same role or similar role, but because how you said he's so damn good, it's like it doesn't get old. It doesn't get old. It's like because because who's someone who does get old with the same kind of role? Jared Leto.
Yeah.
That dude annoys the fuck out of me, dude. like after Dallas Buyers Club, bro, like where you play a transgender, which was pretty good. I mean, he won an Oscar for it. He always plays the role where his eyes are always open and he talks real slow and he's like the weirdo.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, I'm tired of seeing you. I don't know. But
to the defense of some actors, and this may not apply to everybody, but I saw Samuel Jackson in an interview and he said because they were kind of saying that about him, that he's always the same kind of person, but he said that a lot of times the creators, they seek him out for certain stuff. So once, instead of him going looking for these movies, they say, oh, we want you on this movie. And as soon as he gets his script, it says motherfucker, oh motherfucker. and he was like, it's not me, that's what they want to hear me do this all the time. So it's harder to find challenging roles because they're like, oh, I got a role for you, you're gonna just say motherfucker all the time. He's like, well shit, I've done this my whole career.
And then on top of that, it doesn't help that to say motherfucker all day and then get paid 10-15 million as well. I mean, that's not gonna, and I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? That's I'll convince anybody to do that shit,
And I feel it probably happens with Denzel though. They probably, seek him out for certain stuff. But nice ass list. I'm gonna ask you this. I like realistic answers. So I don't know if you have offspring or anything of that nature, but I want to know what keeps you motivated. I don't want you to hear, oh, my kid or my girlfriend. What keeps you motivated? I just want something a little more.
What keeps me motivated, man, and I hope this isn't a short answer for you, and I'll elaborate, but what keeps me motivated is I owe art a debt. I owe art a debt for the soul of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, God always, but without God I think God and art are very, very similar to me. And I feel like, we interpret God through art, and God in a way, we interpret God through, when we interpret art through God. Nice. So it's one of those things where it's like, I owe art a debt. The art saved my life. God saved my life. I owe it to give it my all, or die trying. And either one I'm cool with, because at least I can say, at the end of my road, hey, I gave it everything. I may not have made it. I may not have, I may not be Will Smith, or who's another one of my favorites, by the way, or I may not be Denzel or whoever, Shia, but at the end of the day, man, I gave it everything. And guess what? Everyone around me is going to know, shit, bro, he didn't leave nothing on the table.
I respect that.
So I owe art a debt, man. That's why. What gets me motivated?
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a similar question, and I kind of in the same vein. What advice would you give to somebody that's wanting to get into acting, music, or comedy? And I don't want to hear, just believe in yourself. if you could do it, if you put your mind to it, like some real advice, what would you give to somebody who want to step in the we'll just open it up to the entertainment industry, because it's not all the same. It's same world.
I would say if someone wanted to come up to me and say, if someone came up to me, let's say I made it, and someone came up to me and said, "Hey man, like what can I do to be like you or whatever," you know, I would tell them, I would tell them a bunch of shit, but the thing that I would get back to at the end of my point would be one word that we've heard all our life, but may not pertain to this, and that's defiance. Stay defiant, man. Stay defiant as fuck. Don't give in to nobody.
Nice.
Straight up. Die on the hill that you want to die on. Straight up. Because your hill is it's your land, it's you. And guess what? Not everyone's gonna like that. And everyone's gonna feel, you know, Nicholas Winning Refn, by a side note, he said something that pertains to this. He's a guy who made Drive and Neon Demon that I mentioned earlier. He said at the Cannes Film Festival, his movie Only God Forgives, I believe, or no, Neon Demon, that came out in 2016, got half cheers and half boos. And that's the thing about Nicholas Winning Refn movies. You're either gonna love them or you're gonna hate them. That's just how it is, and that's why I love them. Yeah, but he said, but one of the last questions in the Q&A, when he was at the Q&A conference, they said, so it's fair to say that the reaction of your movie got mixed reactions, half boos, half cheers. What do you think about that? He said, listen, he said, art isn't interpreted, it shouldn't be interpreted good or bad. It shouldn't be just good or bad. Good or bad is like the Chinese food you had the other day, or or what you had at the bistro down the street.
Yeah.
If everyone loves the same movie, then obviously the movie didn't do its job to make people think deeper.
Yeah.
Right. And same thing if everyone hates the movie. Like he's like, if you're watching a movie just because it's just to consume time, or watching a show just to consume time, what the fuck? Why? It's boring. You need an experience. Yeah. Movies and film is an experience. Art is an experience. Yeah. It's an expression. So I would tell people, die on the hill that you want to die on. Stay defiant. Never give in. Make movies that you want to make, you know, or make art that you want to make. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know about you, but I've seen art galleries in my time where it just looks like paintbrushes smeared on canvas, and it sells for $100K. And you're like, what the fuck? I could do this. And guess what, though? But someone was probably told that too. And guess what? They got $100K in their savings now. So what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, man, die on the hill that you want to die on. Stay defiant. Never give in. Tell, you know, and have a great team around you. Straight up, have a great team around you. You know what I'm saying? Always go home, always respect where you come from. Because guess what? When it gets good, say you make it and it gets good in life, and your name's in the stars, I promise you, the minute you fuck up is the minute you'll fall from grace. And guess where you're gonna leave the land? Exactly where you started from. You better hope you do. You better hope you do. So yeah, man.
No, you know what? I respect the way you kept it real, and because when you ask questions like that, you always get, believe in yourself if you put your mind to it. You know, if you can just, like, I want to hear some real shit. So that was some real shit. I want to open the floor real quick before we wrap it up. I just want to give you the opportunity to promote anything. If you have website, movie coming up, music coming out, anything, any shout outs that you miss. This is basically boom. What do we not talk about that needs to get talked about? Go for it.
Yeah, so no music coming out, man. I'm kind of like behind, kind of left that in my rear view, unless it's like guitar or something. But as far as films go, man, I got my film The Heritage, directed by Drazy LeRae, starring Drazy LeRae, wrote it by Drazy, you know, everything, you know, produced by 86 Pictures, which is owned by me. Coming out very soon, you know what I'm saying? We're going to have an Alamo Drafthouse premiere, where we're going to premiere 4 movies. 2 of them are made. 2 movies are going to be made. Well, they're already made. Directed by Seth Magnum, great filmmaker, 18-year-old kid who has a mind of a film wizard. I learned so much from him. He has 2 movies he's going to be playing. Another guy named Jafet Velasquez, who's one of my close friends, like a little brother to me. He's the one who really pushed me to start film and making my own films as well. He has a movie that I'm actually the lead role in, that one too, called Southbound in Cherry, Texas. We just wrapped that up at the ending of last year as well. And then my movie, The Heritage. So it's going to be 4 short film movie premiere at the Alamo Drafthouse. I don't have a date just yet, but it's coming very soon. It's almost done being edited, and I think you'll like it. I have a movie to look out for is this May or June. I think it's going to be more closer to June around my birthday. I have a new movie called The Ira and Tilly Story, and that's a movie that I'm writing. I play a small supportive role in it, but I'm directing on this one. And if you like drug infused movies and trap houses and people getting killed um all in a dream sequence, sort of, you will love this.
Oh yeah.
It's very Requiem for a Dream meets Spring Breakers. So
Ooh,
yeah, man.
nice.
And then after that, man, just stay look. We got merch right now. I got my 86 pictures merch right here.
Nice.
That's on my Instagram. We got black and white sweaters. I'm actually ordering another pair because I sold out, but they should be coming soon. We got another batch coming.
Where can we
Um,
follow you?
yeah, so my Instagram is underscore D as in dog, Drazy, and then actually it's underscore Drazer with an R at the end. So it's just like how my name sounds, DRAYZE, and then an R. And yeah, you can follow me at Drazer, and then also you can follow my company's Instagram at 86 Films.
Nice. And that's the numbers and not the words
Yeah,
spelled out,
the
correct?
number 86 and then Films.
Okay, cool. If you're sitting at home and you haven't pressed that button called follow, go ahead and press it. I'm assuming, especially if you follow, that's when you'll find out when the premieres are going to happen, when things get posted. And
Exactly.
fun fact, I'm right down the street from a draft house, so I know what to do once I see you post that the time is coming. I'm going to
Oh
get my
yeah.
ass in there and see exactly what type of
I'll have
experience
I'll
you have
have
in
a seat
store.
for you, boss. I'll have a seat for you.
Oh yes. I'll make sure I'm not going to drink for this. I want to be able to appreciate it. I'll drink after, but I won't.
Appreciate that, man.
But hey, it was a pleasure having you on. We learned some things. I'm sure somebody's inspired. Hopefully, if you're watching this on YouTube, you saw him spit the gospel. If you're listening to the audio version, you heard him spit the gospel. I hope you have a notebook handy. Hope you took some notes and you get your ass out there and fulfill your dreams. Velvet Vibes Podcast. We're out this bitch.